Another Saturday, and the question for the day, November 22nd, 2025. What do you do when you learn that all the things that had been done to you were done because of love and malasakit and care, supposedly? Because it truly matters to some people that what you are doing, that because of the things that you are accomplishing, heaven forbid that a thought crossed your mind that you might get in your head that, a thought that you might be healthy, you might be a normal person, that you might be an attractive person, that in spite of all the things that, try to get you down, you still manage to smile and to take care of yourself. And somehow the reflection looking back at you in the mirror might, the thought might cross your mind that you are actually, not bad looking, and that you feel good about yourself. So there would be enough in the medical diagnosis that can best describe a person who will still feel good about life after all the things that have been done, So heaven forbid that you might think yourself as normal and healthy, So there must be something that to be done, like an intervention, so that you will not think of yourself as healthy, as normal, as attractive person. So you might think that for all the things that you have done, and then when you look at your family and that you feel happy about the result of so many sacrifices, that the obligations that you did not relegate and that you could not actually assert depression, you were able to do that. So more on this. This is just a part one of this question. So this is the second part of the question of the day for November 22nd, 2025, Saturday. So for all the things that you can present as proof of your state of mind and the proof of your capacity to fulfill your responsibility, your personal responsibility, like your family, and also while at the same time doing your part as a career woman. Wow, big word up, career woman. So in spite of that, they don't matter. It turns out that they don't matter to some people, because what matters to these people are the thoughts that could secretly be lurking, not as the frame of reference for the actions taken that can be seen, the overt action, what can be seen, what can be heard, the five senses. No, there must be something secretive that can make someone feel good. So, the thought that can be superior, the thought that could be, a swagger, or where, the pride, they cannot be, they are symptoms actually of something that should be squashed, or something that should be medicated, or whatever can drive those thoughts that somehow God loves this person to allow her to finish the job from day to day, to manage expectations and frustrations and disappointments, for relationships that had got awry, to be able to look ahead. So there must be a source of something that can be condemned, something that is condemnable, that isn't showing in the overt. So the things that are secretive, that's shared between, the thoughts, the soul, the spirit, who can be privy to the thoughts, to the actual feelings. So they, what can be seen by the naked eye, they are not so interesting as the secret thoughts, So there might be something lurking in my mind that I might think that I am a worthy person, that I am an attractive person, that I have something to offer to a guy, to the family of my would-be partner, something like that. That's also good. So that's not good. So if it's not what you do, but the chance that you might entertain a notion in your head that could somehow compel you to a life of a crime, to a life, to a notion that someday you might hurt yourself. Someday you might hurt other people, not based on what is happening so far, but because of that secret thought that can be lurking in your mind. So the thoughts that are not manifested in your actions, but somehow it can be taken from the assorted, from all the actions you take. You can somehow interpret it as this way and that way, and the compilation of that, it's not good. It's going to be your medical abstract, and the reason why you cannot be a normal person. What do you do when you encounter some people like that, or in a situation wherein what can be regarded as proof and evidence, they're not going to be regarded as proof and evidence because it is what could be seen, like from reading of all the things that you said. Some sentence can be taken here and there, and they can be put together as your profile. That is tough, right? So God is also a good God. God is a just God. That I can be quoted in saying. So my answer coming up shortly. Hello, hi. Once again, this is yours truly, Clarice T, and I want to give this answer for yesterday's question of the day, part 1 and part 2. Basically, they're related. So anyway, it's going to be more cohesive if I give one answer to that back-to-back questions. And let me start with a promotional poster where the photo of yours truly can be seen in a public place along with the name. Supposing a mother and daughter walk by, and the daughter will ask the mother, "Mom," or auntie, "Do you know that woman who's supposed to be who has the name Clarissa talaga?" And that photo and that picture, do you know her? Is she, have you seen her previous work? Have you heard her songs in the past? So there can be long answer and short answer to that. There's also legal forum where the legal question about identification of that woman who will be selling tickets, collecting them. So all the things, these question and answer that I've been doing, they will come handy actually. So there is a short explanation available, and there is a more comprehensive explanation possible. So that woman whose name is Clarissa talaga, she offered several test cases. For instance, one of the more important ones would be the rights of those who are considered less than normal, people who are being suspected of having a incompetent or incapable status. That's why they are not allowed certain privileges that normal people, regular citizens are enjoying. And so, that Clarissa talaga has been a test case. Yes. Why I say so? Because all the question and answer, the uh, formal inquiry that I've managed to participate in had brought up that issue. So no wonder, in the past, I was wondering where my difficulties had been coming from. And when I joined that formal proceeding where all of this legal incompetency and incapability had been verbally, for the record, had been discussed, it made sense. So the artist, the woman who was suspected of having no sufficient identification and legal status had participated in and had um, some activities participated by local community that she was able to present as her defense and proof of her being, you know, or of the quote unquote injustice being done in depriving her of her rights. So it also goes to show that we have a regular proceeding whereby even like a sitting senator or public official must go through the proper channel in order to make sense of like how a citizen has asked for help. So we have the different branches of the government with its function, and that everyone, even those who barely who barely made it as a person who can dress herself, you know, who can cook for herself, who can live in a house that is proven to be a real house without it being an assisted living. So a person who is independent, who can take care of herself, who can do the minimal for herself, and that there is no record that had prospered of any like disruption or intrusion of other people's rights. There had been none of that. And so, with the barest minimum recognition for her rights, she is able to go the extra miles in order to prove her, number one, her right as a citizen of the Republic. So it can happen to everyone that you know, a real honest to goodness medical condition, and that person who has, for instance, you know, those with Down syndrome or any kind of impairment that will affect the judgment, more so, these are the persons who should be given monetary budget. They will need they will need caregiving, for instance. They will need special education. They will need more nutritious food. They will need like vitamins or any drugs to to help them cope and to give them the most regular life, the most functional life that the society can give them in order to function as a normal citizen, as a normal human being. So consider that my case is that of a person suspected of different abnormalities. Such a person will need all the help that can be given, right? So it is not like I posted this question. A person who had been like incapacitated by nervous breakdown or mental breakdown, shouldn't she be receiving the lion's share if there is a family fortune to be for her, where she is entitled as a compulsory heir? Shouldn't the rest of the compulsory heirs acknowledge that fact that she will need special allocation, special budget for her condition, right? So the artists that, you know, the young people will be seeing being promoted on the posters and like promoting music, she had really gone through the process of being grilled, and she came out stronger. I would think so, that the presumption of regularity, the presumption of innocence, and also in defense of the fellow you know, the co-stakeholders, like to family assets. This is also a way to justify the decisions of fellow, what's that, compulsory heirs. This especially matters in the affairs of the heart. Imagine choosing a partner, a lifetime partner, with so many baggage and suspicions, and not one of them had been resolved. That is a very risky undertaking for another person, for a man to take and to introduce to his family, right? And so it had taken so many years that it is now possible to have a description, one or two, without going through the details if one doesn't have the time, the stomach, you know, the um, the mental acuity, the perseverance to dig through how 1791 CM Rector Street Pleasantville subdivision had figured in the different official documents, and that we all end up bringing all our credentials to a table, to a venue, to a forum whereby each of us could be listened to, would be listened to, and I consider that by itself an accomplishment. So not only am I going to sing my heart out, and I know that this passion of mine was able to lift some spirits in the past. I had some supporters for my music. It's also fresh lease on life that I I very much doubt that I will be standing here explaining what needs to happen, what I'm going to do, and how I am going to present myself without going through the nitty gritty details that, as a person of interest, as a party of interest, it is my responsibility. It is not the responsibility of any stranger. It is not the responsibility of my neighbor to make sense of what's been happening. It is not the responsibility of our barangay captain, of the fiscal's office, or of my crush, or of someone whom I just met. It's not the responsibility to make sense of the minutest detail why things happen the way they are. It's between me and the co-stakeholders, um, pursuing their own personal interests. So all of us have vested interest, and I have managed to put my interest in equal footing or in equal footing, whatever, as having equal rights under the law. So, in as much as I want to go to the nitty gritty details, it is not of interest to those who might be interested, to whom I will be selling tickets to my music event, and hopefully I will see them there. I will see you there. Hopefully I will see you there. And thank you so much for listening. That is a lot for yours truly.